this video I want to show you the riff of Pretty Woman, and it's a lot of fun to play, and you should really check this riff out 2 times. Everything's played with the downstroke. With a low E string, open string. So it's then in the 4, we go to the 4th fret with the ring finger. Then with the index finger in the 2nd fret of the A string. And then 5th fret A string with your pinky. So if you're not used to play with your pinky, that's the time when you start to play with your pinky. And take a look where my thumb is on the back of the neck. It's not kind of like here or something, because this would be a hard time to grab those. Kind of like here or here. That makes it way easier to get those stretches done. We play that twice, this first part of the riff. And then we repeat that. And then comes the whole riff, which starts the same way. But then we have some additional notes. 4th fret D string with the ring finger, and 2nd fret D string with the index finger, and again 5th fret A string with the pinky. So it's open, open, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5. Open, open, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5. Open, open, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5. Always make sure you're on the right string playing. And you might struggle, especially with those 2 notes here played by the pinky and the ring finger. So maybe you play just between those 2 notes for an exercise. And take a look where my index finger is. It's not somewhere there. It's always ready to go and play here in the 2nd fret of the A or the D string. So make sure you have kind of like your hand in position all the time. It might be hard for you in the beginning, but believe me, it's a good exercise to really build up those hand technique, this stretching techniques here, to get used to this. And as I said before, maybe do an exercise by just playing between the 5th fret of the A string and the 4th fret of the D string. And of course, you also should check out what your picking hand is doing. Everything is played with a downstroke, but still, it can be a hard time because we have to change between strings all the time. Maybe you just practice the first part of it. Just on 2 strings. Really get that going first, and then you go for the whole thing. Maybe this is still way too fast. Let's do it slower. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and slower. Okay. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and And you also might notice, or maybe not, but I will tell you now, that I move my picking hand a little bit along. I'm just parking here kind of on the bridge. I'm moving my hand whenever I need to switch to the next string, I'm going a little bit lower or go up here. So take a close look. When I'm playing the D string, I'm here. When I'm playing the E string, I'm here. So I'm kind of like moving along. And then when the vocals enter, we start on an A major chord. A very cool chord progression, which you could use, for example, Sitting on the Dock of a Bay by Otis Redding. And I think it's a beautiful chord progression, and it's not that standard chord progression which you find in so many songs. It's quite special, I think, for a kind of a pop song. If you learn those chord shapes, which are more or less common, mixed with some more not that common chords. So let's start with those chords, and I'll show you how to grab those same old chords like G. In a way, you should do it now like this, because it has to do something with the chords which are coming along the way. So we start with G, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and ring finger in the 3rd fret of the high E string. And then we go to B7. Middle finger, 2nd fret A string, index finger, 1st fret D string, ring finger, 2nd fret G string, and pinky, 2nd fret E string. This is maybe not that common for you, but you should do like a dry exercise between those two chords before you go on, so you can really make sure your fingers know where to go. And try to change positions all at once. Do it in your tempo, do this exercise for 100 times, 200 times, whatever, until you feel comfortable. And then we take our strumming pattern. It's down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. It's the same all the time for this exercise, and take notice that I changed the position of my grabbing hand already on the very last upstroke. You see? On the very last one, I already moved to the next chord. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So don't give yourself a hard time trying to change the chords just after the last upstroke, because this is quite common to do that. I mean, if you play it in a faster tempo, you won't notice that at all. I think this is a common technique, and this is not something only beginners do or something like this. So the next chord is C major, ring finger, 3rd fret A string, middle finger, 2nd fret D string, index finger, 1st fret B string. And then the next chord is A7. We can stay with the middle finger and the 2nd fret of the D string, and the ring finger goes to the 2nd fret of the B string. So it's change the chord. then we combine all the 4 chords. Down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up. If you have trouble with a certain chord, do a dry exercise, as I said before, between those or 2 chords, between maybe G and B7 or B7 and C, where you have to change a lot of positions. Really do that first before you do any strumming at all, so you can really make sure you know where to go. This is really important. And then slowly bring in your strumming hand. Like, do it like this. If you have trouble with it, this is the only way to do it in a slow tempo. Also make sure that you only hit 6 strings on the G chord. On the other 3 chords, we never hit the low E string. And said so, you can also make sure that you use one of your fingers within those chords to mute the low E string. If you have trouble with a low E string always ringing throughout, you should consider doing this. Because you, for example, on the B7, I can place my middle finger like this, so it touches just a tiny little bit the low E string, so it's muted a little bit. So if I hit it by accident with my pick, it won't ring like this. I don't want that. And for C, the same goes with my ring finger here in the 3rd fret of the A string. I mute it by touching it just a tiny little bit. I mean, not going on it, but just touching it. With A7 it's a little bit more complicated because we don't have a finger right next to the E string, so just pay attention to not touching the low E string with your pick. And if you do so, I mean, you can use your thumb a tiny little bit also to do that. But those are tips for more advanced players maybe, which are used to use their thumbs already. But you get the idea. Just try to focus on how to grab the chords. Check all those things out. It's a beautiful chord progression, I think. And if you need some more basic lessons for how to play the guitar, check out my free lessons, which you find in the video description. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and see you in the next video. My name is Hannes. Bye-bye.